Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Chelsea Explained. I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing that. I'm going to try and make some few tweaks in my content. I'm going to just be more authentic, talk in front of the camera, not have too many cuts and editing, and I think it's gonna suit me more when I'm creating content, and hopefully it's gonna allow me to be more, motivated and upload more frequently. So I hope you're gonna like it. Anyway, now the main topic that I want to focus on in this video, and the sole only topic, is around Jadon Sancho. And as exactly as the title refers to, I'm going to try and discuss and give you my explanation what I would do if I would keep Sancho or not. And we're gonna go through the latest stories around it. So before we dive deeper, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my page, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when the content drops. Jadon Sancho was one of the most exciting wonder kids at Dortmund for like 3-4 years ago. Now what happened with that Jadon Sancho? Can be many things. Can be because of the environment, because the manager doesn't know how to use him, both in terms of Ten Hag and Enzo Maresca. It could also be that Premier League doesn't suit him. All this kind of good stuff, which we're gonna get into. Now, first, we fans thought that, we're loaning Jadon Sancho from Man United, and then he's gonna become a Chelsea player in June 2025, because we have an obligation to purchase him from Man United, and the fee is going to be £25 million. David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano has of course reported it, but they have also mentioned in the report that apparently there is a way to not to avoid buying Sancho. In the contract, it is apparently a £5 million penalty fee that Chelsea can trigger. Man United will receive those 5 million, and Jadon Sancho will not become a Chelsea player. He's going to go back to Manchester United. So what you can understand here is that we have two options. Buying Sancho for 25 million becomes a Chelsea player wouldn't be a complete disaster. I'm going to come into that very shortly. There have also been some contradicting news. Some, reports saying that Chelsea has decided is gonna decide to activate that penalty fee, and then Sky Sports coming out later and saying that Chelsea is gonna look to buy him on a permanent deal and not activate that penalty fee. So the only thing we can do is literally just wait and see, because the news circling around Chelsea these days, ever since the owners took over, you never know what is exactly true. There's a lot of contradictions. Now, there come out reports today that from Bild, I don't know how trustworthy that source is, but it says that Jadon Sancho is looking and wanting to join his former club Borussia Dortmund, who he was sold to and has also been loaned out to. And I think going back to Dortmund would of course make sense for him, because they are the one that sort of elevated him as a player and became one of the most exciting wonder kids. He was smashing it in Bundesliga, in Champions League. It would make sense, and I would understand from Sancho's perspective if he would decide to go to Dortmund. Alright, so let's dive into the discussion around Jadon Sancho, what I think Chelsea should do, and also what I would do in terms of keeping or offloading Jadon Sancho. And I would honestly activate the 5 million penalty fee to send him back to Man United and move on. That is not to disrespect Jadon Sancho. I simply don't think he suits Enzo Maresca's preferred type of winger. Maresca wants someone that has tactical knowledge, that is very aggressive in the press, that is pacey, excels as taking on the fullback not only the fullback but opposition in different 1-versus-1 situation. He wants his winger to put in crosses inside the box. He wants his winger to carry the ball up the field from time to time. And although I think Jadon Sancho could be pretty good in possession and has pretty good technique when it comes to whipping in crosses inside the box, I don't think he is that traditional pacey winger that's gonna drive past opposition players. I think he's more like a smooth, wide playmaker that can't really be isolated and by himself. He needs players supporting him in attack and in midfield to allow him to get more space, to manipulate space, creating for his teammates through his vision, passing abilities, and he can also have that sort of space to use his trickery, flicks, dribbling skills, etc. And now he was really allowed to do that at Borussia Dortmund, but I don't think that has really been the case here. He has been isolated. It's not always that Cucurella overlaps and underlaps. When Enzo Fernandez is occupying that left half space, he's not really someone that's looking to drive into the half space and Manchester City zones where Jadon Sancho could perhaps find him making runs behind the back line. So what I want to come with is that if we're gonna keep Enzo Maresca, whether we like him or not, we have to give him players that actually suits his style of play, that are continuously stressing. I think that is how you should run a club. You should back a manager as much as you can, not complete blindly. He's gonna have to deserve being backed as well, but in the summer, keep in place for the sake of it, or because they were good in the past, or that's not gonna work here. We're gonna have to be ruthless, and we're gonna have to get players that Maresca feel suiting his style of play. So this is not to slander Jadon Sancho. I think in the right environment, maybe going back to Borussia Dortmund as Bild mentioned, I think he's gonna excel there again. I think Bundesliga and in Dortmund that likes to attack, have a lot of players supporting their playmaker, it's gonna suit him. He's more like a 10, but he's on the wing. And he's gonna need a lot of support. He's gonna need runners. He's gonna need that fullback dragging the opposition's wide players so he can get more space and do his sort of thing. Maresca also wants, players that likes to press high, that has high intensity, and I think Jadon Sancho can be smart in some occasions where he reads the opposition and intercept passes, but I think he can sometimes lose motivation. He hasn't really that determination to do everything he can in the press and defensively wise. Personally, for me, if there's one thing I learned these recent years is actually how important it is to back a manager and actually most 9 out of 10 times give players that he needs, and also that a player needs to be in the right system, have the right type of role. Every player won't be this Swiss army knife that can be versatile, play 3-4 roles in 2-3 different positions. Not every player is going to be that, and that's why it's so key that you're nailing down the squad building element when you're taking over a football club. Our owners, sporting directors has not done their job correctly, and if they did their job correctly, we would be far ahead by now and would still be playing Champions League football and competing for trophies. I think that every team needs a playmaker, of course, and Sancho is that. But I think we already have that in Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and I think Caicedo is building up that game even more. So having another playmaker in the starting 11 when we already have 2-3 guys would just be overkill for me. I would rather have a pacey winger that driving against the opposition defenders, that can get in behind the backline and you can find through balls. We need that type of winger if that's what Enzo Maresca prefers. A similar winger to Neto and Madueke, they have that in abundance. I'm not a director of football or a chief scout, but you know, you could always look into Gordon, Nico Williams, Ken Rafael Leao fill that role perhaps. You also got wingers, a younger winger in Bruno Gittens from Dortmund. Or you just look at the club already. We have a young, exciting Tyreek George that is technical and fast. Also a very direct player. You could switch. You could buy a striker like Osimhen and then you move Jackson to being a wide winger because he was a winger at Villarreal. Maybe Neto will fill that role and we have Madueke on the right hand side, Palmer in the middle, Jackson up front. But I'm not gonna disrespect Jadon Sancho. I think he's gonna excel in the right environment and being the main playmaker or one of the main playmakers in the starting 11. Is gonna have lots of support around him. Let me know your thoughts in comments down below. Would you keep Sancho? Or do you think it's worth paying a 5 million fee to avoid getting him at Chelsea on a permanent deal? I would happily read that. We can have a discussion going on in the comments down below. And I thank you so much for watching this video. And Chelsea Explained is out. Bye.